We're predicting big things over the next 2 games. I'm Zac Blackerby. He's Ben Taylor with Braves Today. This is the Braves Today podcast. And Ben, we've got 3 bold predictions for just the 2-game series against the Boston Red Sox. First things first, Ben, shutting out the Red Sox. We are predicting, our first bold prediction is that the Braves will shut out the Red Sox in both games.
The only reason I'm predicting this is because of the 2 studs that we are throwing in Boston, with the old man Morton, who's going to take the bump for the Braves, and then Strider, who will end up probably having double-digit strikeouts again like he always does.
Yeah, just a routine outing for Spencer Strider at this point.
It's a routine outing. Yeah, he had 11 Ks. Oh, that's it? He didn't have 13? What gives? Somebody, did they take him out early? What happened? So that is the only reason I'm saying that they can shut out the Boston Red Sox. Plus, the Boston Red Sox, they're last in their division right now in the NL East. Now, with that said, they're only 9 back of the first-place team, and Atlanta's in first place in their division, and the second-place team is 11.5 back. So less games separate first and last in the AL East as opposed to the NL East. Right. But still, shutout Central. The Braves are coming off a high of winning in Milwaukee. They're going to travel over to Beantown, and Ozzy's going to continue to do well. Acuna's going to continue to do well. Austin Riley didn't do great in the final game of the series, but he's still hotter than a firecracker. I don't see an issue here. I do think that it is a shutout of both games.
Yeah, and I think the shutout nod is almost more about us believing in what's going to happen in the last 2 to 3 innings in each contest versus like the first 6 or 7 with the 2 starters. I mean, just because the timing is really fortunate for this 2-game series for the Atlanta Braves.
Hernandez makes his debut in the Brewers series. After he gets called up, he makes his major, and he strikes out this. He did have a hit. He did give up a hit. But other than that, the 3 outs he recorded were all strikeouts. So he proved why he throws hard. And now that's some of your middle/late relief that you'll be able to depend on going into Boston.
Yeah. All right. So our first bold prediction, maybe 2 shutouts. We'll have to wait and see. Against the Boston
It's a big
Red
call,
Sox.
man. That's tough to make a call. Even if you're playing the worst team in the league.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so hard.
I mean, this is something we should have called against the A's, and you saw how that ended.
That's correct.
So same thing with the White Sox. They're middle of the road, middle of the pack AL Central team. We could have made that call against them, and we lost that series. So it is a very bold prediction to go ahead and pick shutouts, but it's going to happen, man.
But our most bold prediction is next as we predict that the Braves will score over 10 runs in this 2-game series against the Red Sox. So at least, at least 5 a game in both of this 2-game set. And they could go off. They could certainly go off. You're not super impressed with their game 2 starter. And then this kind of question marks on to, what they're going to do in the first game of the set. So once again, like the timing of all of this with where Atlanta is in their rotation and where the Red Sox are in their rotation, like really everything is pointing towards the Atlanta Braves here.
Not to mention who's hot right now. Acuna is swinging a hot bat. Like he hasn't had the home runs, but 2 for 4 in game 2, 2 for 4 in game 3. Austin Riley, I know he went 0 for 4 in game 3 against the Brewers, but I mean, he still had multiple RBIs in games 1 and 2 and was hot. Albies, 69 RBIs. So he's going to be able to take that to the next level, hopefully, and cross that mark of 70. And he snapped a 0 for 16 streak. And typical Ozzy Albies, what he's going to do, since he was 0 for 16 before that, he's probably going to reel off, 5 or 6 3 for 4 games. And so I really see them doing well. Short porch and left in Boston. It's not very deep and right in Boston. As long as they can keep it out of the gaps, they should be okay. I really do think that the Braves can put up, with their power, some big numbers in Boston. You mentioned the game 2 starter for the Red Sox, Bello. He's 7-6 on the season, but he basically gives up, if you look at his averages, a hit per inning. Yeah. So he lets them put the ball in play, and that's where the Braves do well, because once they get somebody on, Acuna's going to steal. I mean, you got Harris
and you hear the broadcast talk about this, but when Acuna is on base, it just adds so much stress to like what the other team needs to do. There's just a lot of things that you have to think about that you wouldn't normally have to think about. But he's special. We know him more than anybody.
And then they got Wall that came in and had the little nod in game 2 that stole second and third. I mean, you let him in a series like this, if the Braves get up, they put him on base a few times. Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. It could really ruin them. So yeah, I know another big stretch. That's why they're called bold predictions.
That's right. But
10 plus runs when we have no earthly idea who's pitching for the Boston Red Sox in game 1 before they throw out one of their worst pitchers in Bello in game 2. So they may call up a rookie that just is lights out and shuts the Braves down in game 1, which is fine. That means they just score 11 in game 2 against their other pitcher.
That's right. That's right. What's your bold prediction? Let us know in the comments down below. Braves Today fans and Atlanta Braves fans everywhere, got to tell you about our good friends Active Wealth Management. And look, they're based right here in Atlanta. They're huge Braves people, just like us, just like you. And I want to introduce you to Ford Stokes. He's the founder and president of Active Wealth, and he's the host of the Active Wealth Show on AM 920 The Answer in Atlanta. And he's author of the incredible book, Annuity 360. I've got my copy right here. And look, a lot of you are going to the website to get the free book that Ford wants to put in your hands. His free book, Annuity 360. All you have to do is go to annuity360.net, submit your contact info. I actually talked to Ford over the weekend. He shipped out double-digit amount of books to Braves Today listeners over the weekend. He's not wasting any time. He wants this book in your hands. And got to encourage you to reach out to our friends over at Active Wealth. Ford's registered investment advisor, Brookstone Capital. They manage over $8.5 billion. Ben, we've talked in the past, but we did our research. $8.5 billion, and I mean that's a lot. That's a lot.
It begins with a B. Billion with a B.
Yep, that's a lot. That's a lot. So be sure to head over to their website, activewealth.com. And if you want to catch up on any of Ford's financial radio shows, you can visit them anytime. ActiveWealthShow.com. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on this valuable insight. And don't forget to mention Braves Today for that special discount. Our final bold prediction is another sweep. It's another sweep. It's been a minute since we've swept someone. It needs to happen again. And once again, I just think the timing, this is probably the least bold, I think, of the three predictions, which is a little weird.
It's the least bold, but it's still bold because I told you before we started talking, the Boston Red Sox have turned into basically the reverse of the Braves. Is, you know how the Braves will go in and they're basically knocking off every top-seeded AL team?
Right.
Well, Boston, even though they suck, they, for some reason, keep knocking off every top-seeded NL team. They went 2 of 3 against the Brewers, 2 of 3 against Philly, which I know is not at the top, but still Philly was playing good ball when that happened. 2 of 3 against San Diego, 2 of 3 against Arizona. Now, they also got swept by the Rockies. So let's just put it in perspective here.
Well said. Well said. Have you ever been to a game in Fenway?
I have not, which is absolutely really astonishing that I haven't. Because
your sister lived there?
She lives in Boston. Now, she's only lived there 3 years. And every summer, she decides to go teach in Australia for some godforsaken reason.
I forgot about that.
So it's like it messes up my chance of going up there and getting a free place to stay. But yeah,
I went up there the summer before. So I guess in 19, summer before COVID hit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was incredible. It was incredible. It's just, it's a great experience. So highly recommend.
Did you see Nomar?
What's that?
Nomar Garcia Parra. You didn't see him? No.
I don't think so.
Apparently not.
Guess not. Guess not. But it was an incredible experience. So highly recommend all of that. It's a little cramped. They probably should do a little updating. I understand why they don't, but they probably should do some. But still, it was a pretty cool. It was a bucket list thing. It's definitely worth doing.
Well, I put my request into her. I don't want to do the regular seats. I want to sit on the wall.
Yeah, I get it.
That is my request. I mean, that's just something that anybody can go sit and be crowded like you're talking about. But to be able to sit up on the green monster and be able to take your selfies and without, just having a good time. I really want to be able to do that. So
yeah,
that's
I wish I would have spent a little extra and done that. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. Ben Taylor, be sure to check him out on socials. His Twitter's right there. And in the meantime, before we put out another show, be sure to check out all of our written work at bravestoday.com. For Ben Taylor, I'm Zac Blackerby, and this has been the Braves Today